Hi. I would like to start my speech asking to you, how many of you have heard about love bombing? As I suppose, most people here from my generation already knows what I'm talking about, because this is a modern term used by people our age. But for those who are clueless of what I'm saying, let me explain it for you. Love bombing refers to the action of giving love in an exaggerated way for a certain time, but at one point, stop it without any apparent reason. I know this might sound simple or as something that you could easily notice, but let me tell you that this is harder than that. That's why today I want to talk about the background of the situation and why this is so dangerous for a person, and specifically teenagers. First, I think we all have heard adults say things like, love is no longer like before, now times are different, and they even say, people don't know how to love or what love is. But have you really stopped to think, why is this generalization made? Well, just by looking around us, I think we all know at least one person that has relationship problems. And sometimes they are so difficult to identify why they are happening that this is what ends up destroying those relationships. One of those problems is the one I'm talking about today. So, mostly in our age, it's common to get a partner that you feel like they just complement you, as if they were your soulmate, for many different reasons. I don't know, maybe they give you attention, they are thoughtful, they buy you things or invites you out, dedicates you songs or makes you Spotify playlist. I don't know, all that kind of stuff that makes one to fall in love. But what would you do if from a day to another, all this just stops? And you don't gotta know why. You may start asking yourself, why, what happened, what did I do wrong? And I think that the hardest question of all, do I deserve it? After all these mental gaps and asking for explanations, it appears like the honeymoon stage comes back. Either pretending like nothing happened, or perhaps asking for forgiveness. That if you ask me, I think that this is the bare minimum a human in a relationship can do, but anyways. The main factor is that it appears like everything's fine again, and that everything's back to normal, your relationship is perfect again. But however, the cycle is repeated and repeated and repeated again, and the same thing happens. This attention stops, you don't know why, and comes back again. The attention goes away and comes back. This is so on until the person feels safe only in that momentary love, and starts having a dependency, thinking that it is worth to suffer sometimes, because at one point they will feel that love again, as if it was a reward. Like, this attention is your treat because you suffered many times, that now you can be loved again. And at this point, this manipulation has already turned all the enjoyment of the relationship into a necessity. Now, I would like to talk about the other side of the situation, of the problem, that it is the person that does it. In many cases, in most of them, the person is totally conscious they are doing it, and they do it with all the intention of hurting. But as unbelievable as it sounds, sometimes they are clueless. They don't even know they are doing it, and don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean they are innocent or that this is less bad, no. But this comes from many factors. Maybe mental issues, traumas, different things and different thoughts I don't want to get really involved to, because even though I made a deep investigation, I don't think anyone but a specialist is the indicate to talk about it. But something I'm sure I can talk about, and this is the main idea why I chose this theme to my talk, is helping others. Helping others to realize, to feel better, give them advice. Because I'm so worried that this situation has become so frequent that it is now normalized. And this affects a whole generation of people that are now insecure and that they are scared because they think this will always happen. And then there is anything but this. And this is totally wrong. Even in the hardest times, beautiful and amazing people will come to you. But to get that confidence again, it's necessary to identify this behavior at the first chance and leave. Do not let affected people to affect you. And for those who are thinking this doesn't matter to you because you're not even in a situationship right now, do not tell me this problem didn't sound familiar from one that a friend of yours, a family of yours is having right now. So I think it's important that if you have already noticed and you don't see them too, help them. Tell them, help them to get the adequate help before it is too late. And for this, I think we need to prioritize future emotions before present feelings, the right now feelings. By this, I mean that in some cases, we might be part of the problem. Oh my God, how can you tell me that if I'm not even involved in the relationship? Okay, let me get my point. Imagine, I have always been the friend that you come to when you're looking for an advice. I don't know why. People just simply comes and get so confident with me and start telling me their problems and all of that. And I love that. I love to help people. But the thing is that I'm going to express as if it was a straight woman friend with a straight man boyfriend, right? So imagine that friend comes to you and they start telling you their problems, a fight, a misunderstanding they had with their partner. So we obviously want the best for our loved ones. So we don't like to see them suffer. And when they start telling us that, what do we say? Dump him. I always knew he was not the one for you. Leave him right now. I hate him. All these kind of phrases we say because of the heat of the moment. But what happens when as soon as the situation is solved with the bare minimum acts, like imagine she came back and she tells to you, oh my God, guess what? He said he was really sorry and he bought me flowers. Even if we know this behavior is totally wrong, we don't want to destroy that present emotion, that momentary happiness. So what do we say? What comes out of our mouth is something like, that's amazing, I'm so happy for you, I knew he's the one, you should marry him right now, like right now. Maybe I'm exaggerating in that way, but you get the point. So today I want to invite you to think about how in this way we might be helping the aggressor, feeding those delusions, contributing with that constant change of feelings. I know it can be hard because I have been in the situation where even if you know you're doing the right thing, giving that good advice, the person is already so involved in the problem that they see your advice more as an attempt to destroy their perfect relationship. But I think there are always perfect ways to say the things and correct ways to say the things. And I hope you find them because this is a really big problem. But anyways, I think it's a better decision to look for a savior happiness than a happiness that you don't know how many times it will last until the next episode of bad treatment comes again. I would like to finish my talk sharing with you a phrase a teacher told me some time ago, and I'm so thankful with him. It applies in many aspects of your life. This doesn't is just with relationship problems or situationship problems. If you're going through stuff where you don't know if something is the right thing for you or if you should leave it at the time, you should apply this. And I hope this gets to the right ears and the ones who need to hear it. And this is, if you don't know what you're looking for, start thinking in what you don't want for you. From me, that's all. I hope you enjoyed my talk. I'm Rocío Macías, and thank you.